Hello, bonjour. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for watching my video, and special thanks to those who subscribe to my channel. Today's video will be about the game Battlegroup and called Advanced Training, Part 3, Artillery Pre-Registered Target, Counter Battery Fire Mission, and Time Barrage. The first subject, Pre-Registered Target. Before the beginning of the game, draw a map of the battlefield. Something I've done right here. Now that you decide which side for each team, and you are ready to deploy your unit, you take your design and you place an aiming point where you want to have it firing at. For example, I decide I will have it right here, just after the corner of the house. Then I can put here, it would be like 4 inches, and from the top down I'll say another 6 inches. And it is pre-registered, so I don't have to decide what time I'm going to be firing. It's important to note that if you want to use it most of the game, if you're on the attack, you have to consider where it is, so no friendly unit is there, and you can use that pre-registered target as often as you can. During any turn, you can decide to use a fire mission on the pre-registered target point. It doesn't have to be on a certain turn. When you feel that it's a good opportunity to use it, you can use it. Place the aim marker on the table, matching as much as possible according to your design. You don't have to place how many inches on the table it is, because by doing so, you will tell your enemy where you intend to place it. So you can just eyeball it where you want it, and it would be sufficient. It's not really necessary to have 4 inches from the left, 6 inches from the top of the map. As long as you're close to what your design say, it's perfectly acceptable for both parties, I'm pretty sure. After you place your aim marker, you give the order to the artillery gun or mortar. It can be from a unit off table or on the table. So any artillery that you have on the table or off table can be used for any pre-registered target. You start your firing mission for artillery directly with step 6, fire for effect. After you call how many artillery or mortar you're going to use, they are on table, off table, you go fire effect, you fire the number of shots allowed with the battery you use, and you go from there by solving direct hit, pinning hit, etc. Each time you do a pre-registered fire mission, the number of artillery and mortar you use, or mortar, will cost you the number of orders for that turn. Pre-registered target is not a one-time use. You can use it and repeat the mission as often as you want. But don't forget, every time you use a pre-registered target fire mission, it will cost you the number of orders depending how many gun or mortar you use. Let's look at the counter battery fire mission. It can only be used against enemy off table. So meaning during your enemy turn, the enemy decides to use an artillery barrage against you. If you use the artillery barrage fire mission from unit on the table, so the artillery gun or mortar are on the table, you cannot do a counter battery. Only time you can use the counter battery is when the artillery barrage used against you are using artillery gun or mortar off table. In this case, you can use your counter battery. During your enemy off table fire mission, and just before you open fire, basically just before fire for effect, you interrupt him and declare a counter battery mission. You roll a d6, and if the result match the score equal or higher than the off-table battery, they cannot fire. Meaning when you choose your counter battery, inside that pick, it will tell you what you need to roll to successfully do the counter battery. In this case, as you can see, it said to successfully see, you need to roll a 5+. In this case, I'm gonna have to roll a dice and hit 5 or better. It will not cost you any order to call for a counter battery. It's really important. And if you fail, nothing happens and they continue with their firing mission. If you succeed, it stops where they are and they move to something else. Now, what is really important also to say is if you use a counter battery and you fail, you can hit you can use it again until you succeed. Once you do a counter battery and you succeed, you cannot call a counter battery anymore, except if you have more than one counter battery taken during your battle group formation. If it is a pretty big battlefield and you have lots of points, you may have more than one counter battery picked. In this case, each turn, you can use more than one counter battery depending how many you have. But once that counter battery is successful, you cannot use it again. Time barrage. Before the beginning of the game, draw a map of the battlefield before deployment of any unit. Place a marker where you want your time barrage to happen. Also, you indicate on which turn the time barrage will happen. So I take my map and I'll say, for example, just on the corner of the tree line here. And then I can put turn 3. This means during turn 3, at the beginning of the turn, I'm going to use my time barrage. At the start of the turn, I have to use the time barrage. So let's say I said turn 3 time barrage, and the aiming point is right beside the tree line there. I place my marker and I have to do the fire mission. My aiming marker is placed at the beginning of the turn 3, that's the turn I choose, and I have to do the time barrage. The enemy cannot try to cancel it by doing a counter battery. And you cannot cancel it, for example, because your friendly force are near the time barrage. You might have some friendly fire, and you may have some casualty down on your own troops. So it's really important when you choose to have it, and at what turn it will appear, if you are on the offensive, to consider where to move your troops, because you don't want to be near that aiming point for fire mission on turn 3. You go directly to the fire for effect firing mission, and then you solve all the direct hit and pinning hit for the time barrage. It will not cost you any order. And lastly, a time barrage is a one-time use weapon. You can purchase more than one time barrage, but it's a one-time use for each. And if you purchase more than one, you have to indicate on the map where it will happen and on what turn. To recap, a registered target. Need to draw a map and place aiming point for firing mission just before the beginning of deployment. You can use artillery gun or mortar from unit on or off table. For every gun or mortar need to use one order. You can repeat fire mission as needed. So basically, you place it, you do your fire mission the turn you choose and as often as you want. Counter battery can only be used against artillery, gun or mortar off table. No order is used when you call a counter battery. The call for counter battery is done just before the fire for effect mission. You can try to use the counter battery unit until it succeeds. Once it succeeds, you can reuse the counter battery. Time barrage. You need to draw a map and before the deployment, place a marker with the turn for the firing mission. Beginning of the turn, use the time barrage and it would cost 0 orders. The time barrage must be used regardless there is enemy or friendly unit near the aiming point. This completes advanced training for artillery. If you have any comments, please write them in the comments section. Thank you for watching my video. I will see you soon with my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.